From the News Channel 5 Network, this is Morning Line with Nick Barris.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on Morning Line. Nick Barris here with you. We've got a good show on tap on this Tuesday. Invite you to join in the conversation. Look, a lot of, I think, new developments with regard to COVID-19. It's like something new almost every day. But as we see, the spike and how things are happening right now, there's talk of getting the booster shots and how you go about doing that. And some of you out there maybe haven't been vaccinated yet, and you may still have questions about it. We want to try to answer that and make it as comfortable for you as possible, especially with regard to the fact that the FDA is now slowly but surely approving these vaccines officially as opposed to just the emergency approval. We know that just happened with Pfizer. I don't think it's happened yet with Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, but that's about to happen anytime soon. But we wanted to do a program along those lines today for you. Open up the phone lines if you have questions, 737-7587. And we've got a guest with us who's in-house for the first time. Usually he joins us by Zoom from Meharry, but Dr. Calvin Smith, it's good to see you in person.
Good to see you, man. I'm so happy to be here.
Look at this. I mean, we still kind of sit a little apart, but both of us vaccinated.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the question, and people are wondering, is it time for a booster for us?
It's about that time.
Really? So when did you get your second? Or which shot did you get?
I got the Pfizer. I got the very first round of Pfizer in November, and then I got my second in December. So I'm working on about 9 months now. Okay,
and that's about when? I got mine in April, so I'm my second shot, Moderna. I would be due maybe in, 2 or 3 months, maybe?
Yeah, and the timing of it probably doesn't matter as much as we think it does, but yeah, it's 6 to 9 months is really optimistic at the beginning, but actually looks to be really good. 9 months to a year actually might even be better now.
Good, but it was interesting. I was listening on NPR how they say with time, the antibodies that you've built up can fade a bit, but the ones that remained are stronger than the ones you had to begin with.
That's absolutely right.
Is that? I did not know that.
Yeah.
So in a way, even though you've lost some of them, the ones that remain are better suited to protect you not only from COVID, but maybe other illness.
This might not be a really good analogy for right now, considering how teachers are being treated and how doctors are being treated, but the ones that remain are kind of like teachers. And so they actually hold on to a lot more of the material than some of the old, some of the ones the body naturally produces, which is why we push so hard for vaccinations. Yep. Because these vaccinated IgGs are smarter, for lack of a better way of talking about it.
As far as the booster is concerned, so let's be real clear on this. If the time comes for you, when you go, what you'll be getting is just the same exact kind of vaccine amount and formula that you did for the first 2 Pfizers, right? It's not adapted at this point different. It's just another shot.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. So the science really supports that even with the Delta variant, as strong as it's been, the vaccine is still remarkably effective against it. All the ones that are on the market right now are still remarkably effective against the particular Delta variant and the Gamma variant that has come out. There's, the Gamma variant in another location, but it's strong against all of those. And what it really will do is just it's to the word, in the name of it, it boosts your immune system. Yeah. That's it. So it's the exact same as you got previously. It's just
more of it to get it going.
Dose. Yep, exactly.
All right, and that's going to be true with Moderna, Pfizer, or Johnson & Johnson.
That's correct.
I remember asking you about this really early on when I first got my 2 shots. I said, Dr. Smith, if I went now after I've gotten both my Moderna and just said, what the heck, I'm going to go get a Pfizer shot, or I'm going to go get a Johnson & Johnson on top of that. Which I didn't do, and but I mean, you didn't necessarily. You just said, "Well, we don't really know. That's not recommended." Yeah. What would that have done?
Nothing really. I mean, it probably would have boosted the immune system just a bit more, but it'll be negligible. It's kind of like in economics, the diminishing returns. After a while, it kind of plateaus.
It plateaus. Okay, but the bottom line is the booster and the third shot are the same type of thing. It's the same thing. Do we anticipate at any point that they'll reformulate it if they can down the road as we see more of these hybrids?
Yeah, I think that they're doing active research on it now. If the effectiveness goes down, absolutely, I think they'll be ready to try to combat that lack of effectiveness. I think that the mechanism that they use with this mRNA is actually a very smart mechanism because it attacks the entryway for the virus itself. Right. So with that being said, it's going to be very difficult for the virus to overcome the technology that we have with the mRNA.
Okay. As far as getting the third shot, you're about due. You would say there's no shortage of supply necessarily right now. I know I would have to wait till they're recommending. I can't go just right now unless I have a special condition, correct?
Sure, yeah.
Which I don't. I mean, I have some cardiovascular issues with high cholesterol and things like this, but it's not something that it's going to make me rush out to get it. But I don't know what's the timetable then.
I would say if they make it readily available for everyone, I think that kind of meets the demand of the supply chain. And I say people shouldn't have any hesitation whatsoever. You're not holding anybody else up from getting the shot.
I don't want to go and get one when there's someone else maybe that's in greater need that needs it before me.
And actually, from what we've seen right now, based on the way that people have reacted to the vaccines, you probably, I mean, the people who are going to get the third shot are the ones that were really invested in the first place.
Yep.
And the supply is not going to be in short number for those people.
Okay, it's good to know. Well, I've got so many more questions for you, but we have Ann on before we take our first break. Ann, good morning. Hi, Ann.
Good morning. I fall into the category as having several autoimmune disorders and have dealt with it for over 40 years. So I anxiously awaited for my first shot, and I had just a little bit of a problem with my second, and I am proud to say I have had my third shot and had absolutely no problem with it whatsoever.
Good.
So to those people that are afraid to take the vaccine, and I know there are those that are afraid with good reason, don't be. Go to your doctor, talk to your doctor, get the vaccine. I know there are people out there that are conspiracy theorists that will never change their minds.
Right.
But as someone who waited and waited without any research being done on autoimmune people, I was extremely anxious, and it did cause my lupus just a little bit of a hiccup with the second shot, and my doctors were right on top of it with this third, and I had no problems whatsoever. And the relief that the third shot gave me was 100% in my mind, gave me such a relief that I know I'll wear a mask every time I leave my house, and I watch the people around me that don't. But knowing I have that third shot in me, and I don't have to worry about getting an illness that's going to kill me when I walk outside my door, is more relief than anybody could ever imagine. So for those that are afraid to get the vaccine, go get it. It's worth it.
Thank you so much, Ann. And couldn't have said it any better than Ann.
I remember Ann calling in very early on one of my first appearances with you, and I remember her reticence. She was very concerned, and rightly so, as she said. But I mean, the proof's in the pudding. And for a lot of my patients, I like to use the example of other patients, especially. And so, Ann, I hope you don't mind. I've referred to you a couple times.
Yeah, she's
just
great.
In terms of like somebody that is immunocompromised, and this is why we wear the masks. I don't wear a mask to protect myself as much as I wear a mask to protect other people from me.
Right.
And I think changing the narrative and the idea around it, I mean, it's not too late to at least, change the narrative about wearing the masks. With the numbers going up in the weight, I mean, people are 2 degrees, 3 degrees separated from people that are very, very sick.
Yeah.
There's no denying that people are sick in the hospital and are dying from this virus still a year and a half later. You know what I mean? So it's very important to me that we look out for people like Ann.
And she knows that if she were to get it, if she were not protected, it could very well kill her. She did say the third shot, we all had maybe a little bit achiness after our second one if you didn't get Johnson & Johnson. Is it anticipated that you would have a little reaction on this third shot, or maybe not even as much as you did from your second one?
So I would anticipate it, but Nick, I'll be honest with you, from the people that I know that have gotten a third so far, none of them have really reported anything in terms of like the severity of the second shot from and I don't know whether that has to do with the proximity from the first shot to the second shot or what, but I haven't heard a whole lot about bad reactions to it.
Okay, so she went and got hers. She qualifies. Of course, she has the immuno problems. You have your time. Of course, you're a doctor, and you had yours back last December. So I'm just curious, for people like me and like a lot of folks I know, I was vaccinated my second one in April. When should I? Should I go now and get one, or can I? Or what's the timetable in your mind?
Nick, your immunity is probably very strong right now.
Okay.
If you're still within the 6 to 9 month window of when you got your first shot, or your second shot rather, you're probably good during that period of time.
Yeah.
I would say there's necessarily not a rush to get it.
Yep.
I would say anytime within that like 9 to 12 month window would be the ideal time to do it.
Ideal time to go get it. You know, it's interesting as things develop right now, and you know, Titans are about to start playing. I've got some questions for you on this, but all right, you and I, both football buffs.
Yes.
He knows his game, I know mine, and we're vaccinated. If someone, doctor, said, hey, Calvin, I've got tickets to the Cardinals home opener, you know, Titans hosting them, big game. Stadium is going to be crowded. It's outdoors. You're vaccinated. You know you're going to be sitting in a crowd. You can bring a mask with you and wear it, of course, but masks are not required, and I anticipate not many people will be wearing them in the stadium.
Sure.
Would you go to an event like that right now, or would you at this stage maybe think to yourself, I'm going to wait a bit before I go to a gathering that large?
So, I'll be a moment of transparency and honesty. I'm actually going to the Falcons home opener on September 12th.
Okay.
I plan to be masked. I don't care about the people around me.
Right, because you know the people around you may not be masked, they may not be vaccinated. That's a concern for me, because I have tickets to these games, and I'm trying to decide. The large crowds are things that, even though I'm vaccinated, I'm cautious about still. I pretty much do everything else, but big crowds, I'm really cautious. What do you think?
I mean, I'm very cautious about big crowds. I've traveled quite a bit during the pandemic as well.
I feel safe on a plane.
And I feel, you know, the HEPA filters and everything like that are like top of the line.
And everyone's masked.
And everyone's masked up. So that makes me feel a whole lot better.
Right.
But in terms of like the outdoor sporting events, especially like, you know, the Falcons actually play in a hybrid indoor-outdoor arena. I actually went to a game during the limited admittance last year.
But there's separation.
There was a lot of separation. Masks were 100%. I mean, they were very vigilant about it.
Yes.
This is a different situation we're dealing with now. And to your point, Nick, I think that you kind of have to go in with your own level of comfort in terms of whether you make that choice to go to a game or not. I think that, you know, being vaccinated makes me feel a whole lot better about it. Wearing a mask, because I know even being vaccinated, I can still transmit the virus to other people. I'm wearing a mask for other people.
The mask also, will it not also potentially protect you from some of the germs coming in?
Absolutely.
So it goes both ways.
It goes both ways.
So if you're vaccinated, it's an indoor-outdoor or an outdoor venue, or like you said, a hybrid venue, and you're wearing a mask, you think you could go, and that would be a prudent risk. I mean, there's people there, a large crowd, but you don't view that as being reckless.
I don't necessarily. I mean, I think it's on the border of reckless, certainly, Nick. I'll be honest with you. You know, I'm a bit of a risk taker, and I do. You know, this is why I feel a certain amount of understanding for some of the viewpoints that some people have in terms of this virus. But the other part about this that I take very seriously is that I am a physician. I do take care of a lot of people who could potentially become ill. And so as a result of those kind of things, I'm pretty vigilant about making sure I get tested on a regular basis. And so far, so good. You know, I mean, I make decisions, I make calculated decisions, but I'm in a place to do so because I know the literature really well. I know my risks really, really well. I know the people I'm going to the game with, and you know, in terms of like, you know, in terms of the big crowds, like at the entryways and things like that, I tend to wait. I tend to come very early and tend to leave very late. So I make calculated decisions in that regard.
Yeah, smart. And then when you're at the seat, there's just one or two people next to you, and you can stay masked up.
And that's the, you know, that's the part, because people are yelling and screaming. I mean, this is like, you know, you talk about an outdoor event. This is an outdoor event with a lot of particulates and a lot of people yelling, screaming, and spitting and hollering and hooping. You know, especially, you know, God willing, the Falcons win this game, it's going to be kind of crazy. So, you know, the exposure's there. And I had to think long and hard, especially with the Delta variant. I did have to cancel my plans to go to my homecoming for college this year, which is a, you know, really tough decision for me because I really, 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 really wanted to go and take part. It's my 20th anniversary. So, reunion, as they say, but, you know.
Just, again, a judgment call, and you make your call as you go. Listen, we'll take a break. Everyone has to make that decision for themselves moving forward with the best information you got, and I think that's smart. But listen, we'll take a break. We'll come back. We've got more calls for you. We're going to talk more about the vaccines, also how you can go about getting tested and the like on those fronts. So we'll be back with more. Dr. Calvin Smith right after this.